The 916th Symphony. The doctor's words faded into a dull hum, but the date on the form was sharp and loud, September 16th. 9/16, the number of the house where she grew up, the house where fear had been a silent, live-in relative. For Aura, the cancer diagnosis felt less like a new disease and more like an old echo. The old house at 916 had been a museum of quiet sorrows, where generations of women in her family learned to carry their burdens in silence. Aura suddenly felt the weight of it all, an invisible inheritance of trauma. The fear that gripped her wasn't just her own. It was a family heirloom she never asked for. A friend suggested transcendental meditation. It's not about clearing your mind, she explained over coffee. It's about diving underneath the noise to find what's already there. Hope was a foreign feeling, but Aura was desperate enough to try anything. She found herself in a simple room, full of strangers looking for a quiet place in the storm. The instructor, a serene woman named Veda, gave them each a mantra, a simple sound. "Don't try to force anything," Veda said, her voice like calm water. "Just allow the mantra to be your anchor." Aura closed her eyes, the silence around her feeling deafening and unfamiliar. At first, her mind was a traffic jam of worries, the diagnosis, the house, the fear. But beneath the blare of anxious thoughts, the mantra began to hum. It was a single, steady note in the chaos, a tiny candle in a vast, dark room. With each session, the hum grew into a gentle, inner vibration. In that deep, quiet space, she saw them, the women of her family. They weren't ghosts of suffering, but brilliant stars in a family constellation, connected by threads of resilience she had never noticed before. She saw their strength, their joy, and their fierce, unbroken spirits. The trauma was just one story, not their whole universe. The fear she carried was just a tangled knot in the magnificent tapestry of their lineage. Taking a deep breath, she felt the knot begin to loosen. True healing, she realized, wasn't about fighting a disease or erasing a painful past. It was about awakening her soul. It was remembering she wasn't just a body fighting an illness, but a universe of starlight, stories, and strength. When Aura opened her eyes, the world outside was the same, but she was entirely new. The city's noise was no longer an assault, but a rhythm. The date, 9/16, was no longer a sign of doom, but the key that had unlocked the door to her own liberation. The path forward was uncertain, but for the first time, she wasn't afraid. She had found the music that had been silenced by generations of fear. It was the symphony of her own awakened soul, and she was finally ready to conduct.
Today, September 16, 2025, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. For me, 916 is a reflective number, the same upside down as it is right side up. That carries a deep metaphysical truth, that every universe has its mirror, and in that mirror lies the power to reverse, to turn negativity into positivity, to transform curses into blessings, to accept what is, and through surrender discover what can be. 916 reminds me that even in the darkest reflections, light is waiting on the other side.